If you're in the market for a mid-size sedan and the traditional options aren't giving you the fuel numbers that you're looking for, maybe it's time to look into purchasing a hybrid.
We brought out the two segment leaders, the Sonata Hybrid and the Camry Hybrid, to see which offers the best blend of style and substance.
What I'm driving today is the Toyota Camry Hybrid XLE. Let's get into the breakdown. First up is the engine and transmission. What we have here is a 2.5 liter gas electric engine with CVT transmission. When it comes to power, the Toyota Camry Hybrid makes 200 horsepower, slightly less than the Sonata Hybrid. When it comes to fuel economy, the XLE does 40 miles per gallon in the city, 38 miles per gallon on the highway for a combined 40 miles per gallon. However, the LE model does slightly better. And last but not least, the big question is price. How much does it start for? Well, $27,500. The premium model we're driving today, the XLE, maxes out at $34,850.
And now for the breakdown on the Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. Under the hood, it has a 2.4 liter gas electric engine with a 6-speed automatic transmission, not a CVT like most hybrids. That combination in the Sonata makes a touch more power than the Camry at 206 horsepower. In terms of fuel efficiency, you can expect 35 miles per gallon in the city, 40 on the highway, and a combined rating of 37. Pricing is pretty competitive. The Sonata Hybrid here starts at $25,850. This model is fully equipped, which brings up the price to about $32,125. Overall, the Camry is a bit more expensive by $2,000.
Inside of the Camry XLE Hybrid is actually a very good space. The one thing I will say is that the center console, a little too big for my liking. However, the 7-inch navigation screen and the navigation system inside is actually one of the best ones that I've used in a very long time. When it comes to the dashboard, I thought the beginning is a little bit much, a little busy, but all the information is there. Design-wise, there's a little more to be desired overall. However, the feeling inside is partially premium. You got two-tone seating in terms of style. It's got a combination of leather and ultra suede. I'll say though that the cabin interior feels a little small. However, trunk space is larger than what you would find in the Sonata. And there's a 60-40 split where you can actually put skis and snowboards versus what you can find in the Sonata.
The Sonata takes a few more risks with its interior than the Camry. Here we've got this really interestingly laid out center console and this little man that allows you to direct exactly where you want your air conditioning to go. I like that. I think it's really ergonomic and useful. But the screen is a little bit smaller than in the Camry. We found the navigation system and the Bluetooth control a little bit harder to use. And there's a few screens here that we just don't understand, like this engine, earth, and electric motor screen, which apparently all have something to do with one another. Around the cabin, the Sonata looks just as luxurious as the Camry, but you can see that there's a difference in quality. These seats have a plasticky feel to them. Even some of the areas on the dash are much harder than what you'd find on the Camry. The Sonata has a few features that make it a lot more inviting. These two sunroofs, for example, help give the cabin a much more airier feel. And from the outside, it doesn't look like the car would have a lot of headroom, but it does, both for the front seat passengers and the rear seat passengers. Those rear seat passengers also get the added benefit of heated seats, something that the Camry doesn't have at all.
First getting into the Camry Hybrid, I thought to myself two things. It's a Camry and it's a hybrid. Not going to be fun or attractive, but I'm actually pleasantly surprised. There's a smoothness to the CVT transmission that makes driving this car more pleasant. On top of that, the power response makes this vehicle feel like a car and not like the typical hybrid vehicle, such as a Prius. With this particular engine and 200 horsepower, the truth is, on the highway, this particular model deserves to be in the left lane. It's not slow and it's not sluggish. It can't be ousted out. Forget the hybrid badge, this is still a great vehicle. One of the things I really love on this vehicle is launch power. This vehicle performs perfectly when it's time to go. When you really, really want that moment of putting your foot in the pedal and then accelerating, it delivers. Not something that I felt in the Sonata Hybrid.
When you step into the Sonata, it has this blue eco driving mode that's already enabled. What that does is dampen all of your driver inputs, especially on the throttle, so that you get a smooth driving experience. The steering, though, I do like. It's nice and weighted. It makes the car, like everything in this car is really smooth. That's what I really like about it. And it's almost got a borderline luxury feel to it. At the intersection, this is where the car really struggles. I'm pressing down on the throttle and the car isn't moving as fast as I'd like it to. And I'm sitting there going, what are you doing? Let's get going. And then it picks up. Then the gas engine kicks in and helps the electric motors. Overall, it makes for a very disconnected feel from the road and the car. But on the highway, that's where this car really excels, because you don't have to worry about accelerating or decelerating too much on the highway. If you want to drive it in the city, you'd have to turn off this blue eco mode. And then the car becomes a little bit more livelier, but then your fuel efficiency suffers. To give you an example of some real-world fuel economy numbers, from the drive into work and back, I'm averaging about 35 to 37 miles per gallon. But in the Camry, I got close to 50 without even trying. And that's something you really want. You want a car that gives you the good fuel economy numbers without you having to change your driving habit too much.
All right, we've done our homework, we've driven the cars. Here's what we like and what we don't like. First up, on my end, the Sonata looks great on the exterior. I think the interior is definitely airy, Sammy, and at the same time, I think it overall the tech is great, but this car doesn't drive like a car. It drives like a hybrid. Whereas in the Camry, for me, it drives like you want out of a car. I think that its simplicity truly works, and in my opinion, the Camry is the car to drive.
I agree, Richard. The Sonata looks great and has good tech, but I can't recommend it here. The Camry has better drivability and gets noticeably better fuel economy. That makes it the one to get.
For more of this review and others like it, visit AutoGuide.com.